My name is Sean Patrick Flanery, and this is my Q&A, which stands for question and sometimes an answer. Sometimes I veer away from the answer, but either way, you're going to get an A or close to an A. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Sean Patrick Flanery!
Thanks for showing up. How y'all doing? I'm very flattered to be here.
Yeah, I warned them about mics.
That's Magnus, for everybody that doesn't know, which I've been told means really fucking huge. That's what the meaning, right?
Yeah. It means the huge one.
The backstory is just from the neck up. I don't know if that's true or not.
My parents actually thought about naming me Jonas, which means the small one.
But then they look down, they're like, oh, yeah. Magnus.
Exactly. That was happening. And I heard you started with acting because of a girl, is that true?
Everything I've done in my life has been because of a girl. That's honestly the truth. Isn't that the reason we wake up in the morning? Guys, raise your hand, really? Pretty much every reason that we've ever been passionate about anything has been because of chicks. I don't know if that makes me a chauvinist, but it makes me honest. I love women since I was a kid. And I saw the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen at the time leaving a building at the University of St. Thomas. And so what any red-blooded boy does is he drops an English class and he signs up for whatever the fuck they're teaching in that building. And that's a true story. I know it makes me sound simple and stupid, but I don't care. I'm being honest. And it ended up being the theater department. And I fell in love with it. And I never looked back. But it was because of a girl named Catherine Rutherford. True story.
Well, we thank her for that.
I thank her for that.
Your first played a role in Hollywood was working with Paul Walker.
Yes.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong.
Kellogg's Corn Pops commercial.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Paul Walker. Well, he and I did a Kellogg's Corn Pops commercial back when I first got to LA. And it was one of his first jobs as well. He played my younger brother. And it's funny because later on he got into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So later on we had that in common as well. He started training. And martial arts is very dear to my heart. And so I met that kid in 1990 when I first moved to Los Angeles. Wonderful human being too, by the way.
Yeah. So you started off your career quite fast. First a lot of commercials, and then was cast as Indiana Jones. Did everything just happen, or did you have some kind of plan where to go and have a goal?
No one has a fucking plan, you know what I mean? Everybody has a plan, but it never works out that way, you know? I'll be honest, it takes a pretty big egomaniac to drive out to Hollywood thinking, you know what? People are gonna pay $12 to see me on screen, motherfucker. That's pretty arrogant, right? I mean, so admitting that you have that plan is pretty egotistical on its own, but I knew I fell in love with the industry, but to be perfectly honest, I moved out to LA. I wrote a piece of children's theater, and I went out to LA to produce that play because, again, without sounding like an arrogant asshole, I thought I could write. As a matter of fact, I thought I can write. And I know for a fact that I can save up my money, rent out a theater, and I can produce this play. That's solely up to me. Now going to LA saying, I know for a fact a team of 8 executive producers are going to choose me for a film, that's not in my hands. So to me, that seemed a little bit of a low percentage risk. But becoming a writer was I was in charge of that. And I knew I had that work ethic to achieve it. So that's why I went to LA. I wrote a piece of children's theater called Captain Coco, and I drove out to LA, saved my money, waited tables, and I produced the play. And then an agent saw me and suggested, hey, can I submit you for some commercials? And I thought, yeah, if it supplements my income, what the hell? And I got a handful of those. And then she said, you know what, let me submit you to some television. I'm like, yeah, what the hell, if it's supplements. And then the next thing I know, I was on a plane to London to do Young Indiana Jones. That's not to say that I didn't think I could act, because again, full disclosure, being perfectly honest, I thought I would be a good actor. To be honest, I thought I would, but it wasn't in control. I wasn't in control of it. And I'll give you an example. If I were to enter the Olympics, I would want to be a sprinter. I wouldn't want to be a diver, where there's a team of 8 people judging you, where one person says, hey, he was okay, another person gives you a perfect 10, the Russian judge gives you a 6.7. Usain Bolt fucking won. I don't give a fuck what his arms looked like if he was running like this. Motherfucker won. You know what I mean? It was in his control. Fuck you if you don't like the way I run. Nobody runs faster. Do you see what I mean? So becoming an actor was a little bit of a subjective venture. I like things that are more objective. I was in control of the writing. I wasn't in control of the acting. So the acting kind of happened to me. I didn't kind of happen to the acting world. So yeah, I had a plan, and it was to be an actor. I had a plan. It was to be a writer. You can see how I fucked that up. I went out there and writing. Acting kind of put the writing on a back seat for a number of years, up until about 2 years ago.
Right. I want to hear more about that later. So you won a Toyota celebrity race at Long Beach 2 years ago? In a row, 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, it says here.
Yeah. The Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, I won that 2 years in a row. They invited me to race. Obviously, it's every kid's fantasy to be put behind the wheel of a race car. Mira, right there, is from Finland. I happen to be a big Mika Häkkinen fan. So I've followed racing since I was a kid. I watched Nico Rosberg clinch a championship live in the States. So getting an opportunity to be behind a wheel of a race car was a fantasy come true. I don't know anybody that would turn that down.
Good of you to win that also. That you won also is good.
Yeah, I won it 2 years in a row. It was a highlight of my life, actually.
First of all, congratulations. You're a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you got your own academy in Holland. How often do you find time to practice, actually?
All the time. His question was, how often do I find time to practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I'll give you an example. The first place that I went, I don't know if anybody follows my Instagram feed or my Twitter or my Facebook, but the first place that I went was Straight Blast Gym here in Stockholm. And I trained with the guys last night. I showed up there unannounced, and I bought some no-gi equipment, and I rolled with everybody on the mat. So that's how much I love it. I landed in Stockholm, had jet lag off my ass, and the first place I went was to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy right here in downtown Stockholm. And I spent about an hour and a half rolling with guys I've never met, but that'll be lifelong friends now. You know, it's funny, you show up with a gi and your belt, you show up at a martial arts academy, specifically a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and you have 100 friends immediately. It was no gi, so the gi didn't really count, or the belt, but nonetheless, it's like, what you experience on the mat, whenever somebody is actively trying to strangle you and kill you, and they're relying on you simply doing that to make them stop, that's a bond that's different than any other, oh, hey, nice to meet you, my name is Bill. It's a different bond. So yeah, how often do I find time to train? I make time to train because it's a passion. It's like anything else in life. When somebody says, I don't have time to do that, you know what that means? That means they don't care enough to find time to do it. Life is long. You have time to do every fucking thing that you want to do. If you don't have time to do it, you don't like it that much. Period. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I happen to like it that much. At the first place, before I ate Swedish meatballs, motherfuckers, I went and trained Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. By the way, you know, in the States, people go to IKEA just for the meatballs. Y'all probably laugh and think that's stupid, right? I mean, we buy furniture too, but some people go without, they don't even want furniture, they just go for the fucking meatballs. I do that shit too, I'm not embarrassed to say it. And last night at the buffet, they had the meatballs in the brown cool sauce. Swear to God, they were, you know, about like $half, about that big. I had 50 of them. Fucking 50, because I counted those meatballs. I had 10 per plate, 5 plates, 10 balls a plate. I crushed that shit. And it was fucking delicious.
No doubt. But I'll give you a little story first, before the question comes. Back in like '99, I worked in a video store. in Täby outside Stockholm. I never heard of the Boondock Saints. And then I saw the movie standing in the news section. I was like, well, I don't have any other things to see, so I'll take it home. It's guns on the cover. It's good. And the movie completely blew me away. It was absolutely amazing. And we just had one copy. It took my boss like a week, and we had 10 copies. And they were rented out all the time. We had a waiting list. Yeah, it was crazy. So that was to me a movie that spoke for itself. Didn't need any commercials. So I heard a rumor about a Boondock 3. Is that coming or?
I don't know. I know the studio wants to make Boondock 3 pretty bad. Me and Reedus talk about it. He's one of my best friends. I talk to a cat all the time. And, you know, we chat about it, and it's probably something we'd like to see happen, you know? So, please, Niju. But we'll see, we'll see. We're big fans of the film. We're big fans of the whole franchise. So, you know, we were scheduled to make it a year ago, but Willem Dafoe got a movie and there was a conflict, so we couldn't make it. But we'll do our best to make it happen.
Yes, hopefully. You have 99 credits on Internet Movie Database. So we'll find the number 100 soon?
Well, first of all, let me tell you about IMDb. It's like Wikipedia. You can put whatever the fuck you want on there. Half the time my mom calls me, she's like, oh, so you're doing a movie? I'm like, and I go on there, I'm like, no, I don't even know what that is.
It says Rupert.
But you can put anything you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can put anything you want. You have to like file a difference claim to get them to remove something. So, to be honest, I don't know what's on my IMDb page, but was there something specific?
No, it just said you had 99 credits.
Oh, is that right? 99?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know if all of them are real, but that's kind of a cool number. I mean, you know, here's the thing. I've always considered myself a working actor. You know, and I was talking to somebody back in the green room about it. I've never had a marquee name. You know, I can walk through the streets and nobody will recognize me, and I kind of enjoy that. I'm proud of it. But what it means is you're a working actor. Like you work. You know, I know big, huge stars that they do one movie every 2 years. Man, that means you're working 2 months out of 24 months. You know, it's I don't know what that life is like. So I have a number of credits. You know, but what's funny is I've done a lot of movies that none of you guys have seen. I always make a joke. I say I made a career out of films that nobody sees, and that's kind of true. You know, I mean, I guarantee I've done 15 films that I could select somebody in this audience, and I have 15 films that each one's never seen. You know, some I'm really, really proud of, and some that didn't turn out the way you wanted to turn out. But that's the life of a working actor, you know? I actually enjoy working. I do. I kind of get stir crazy if I'm not working. Now, having said that, like you said, I own a martial arts academy back in LA. I'm there 24/7 when I'm in town. I have a full staff there anyway, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a huge part of my life. So, as a matter of fact, whenever I'm here, I'm going on to my Google Docs to see. I have closed circuit cameras. I can tell if my instructor shows up on time to teach class. I can tell if anybody inquires about a class. I can assign a consultant to that. I'm doing that shit live while I'm here. So I have a full day, but these are all things that I'm incredibly passionate about. It's not a job to me. Whenever I show up at the academy to teach a class, it's something that I absolutely fucking adore. So I've been lucky. I always tell people, you know, I haven't had to get a real job in 27 years. I know what real work is. And real work does not mean that people show up and drive 10 hours to tell you you were great at something. I'll tell you, I used to work for Atlas Van Lines and move furniture. Not once did a family track me down and go, hey, I just wanted to tell you, you really moved my couch well. You didn't. That never fucking happened. Never fucking happened. I dug ditches for a water pipe company. No one ever said, hey, fucking solid ditch you've done. That never happened. This is the only industry where more people want to be in this than want to be president. It's kind of crazy. So when I say I haven't had to get a real job in 27 years, I've had real jobs. I threw papers when I was 8 years old. I've worked since I was 8 years old until now. I worked at a donut shop. I changed the fryer at Church's Fried Chicken. You name it, I've fucking done it. I've worked. This isn't work. to have people that travel this long just to show up and tell you they love you've done something that you've already been overly compensated for financially, it's kind of, and I'm not trying to be overly humble, but this is just a fact. I'm stunned the fact that I'm employed in an industry that's like this. It's crazy to me. So the fact that I have 100 credits in something, I love working. I don't just love seeing the final product. I love being on set, meeting new people. And I love doing scenes. I love working with good actors, directors, good material. I love that shit. So yes, I hope I get to 100. That was a long fucking answer for like 100. But I hope I crack 100. You know, if those 99 are accurate.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could be 87 and, you know, 12 people are just lying full of shit. Who knows?
Well, I understand you about being on a movie set. It's like the greatest thing.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore it. Love it. You have, well, this is true then. But because according to IMDb, you have 3 movies releasing next year. Lasso, Howlers, and Further Witness.
Yes, actually, just at South by Southwest Film Festival, I had Johnny Frank Garrett's Last Word premiere there. That's coming out in the new year. It's a true story about a guy that killed a nun in 1981, Amarillo, Texas. True story. And on his deathbed, he was executed. And on his deathbed, he said, I didn't do this, and everybody that has anything to do with my death is going to pay. Well, it turns out they found some DNA evidence, and he didn't do it. And oddly enough, a lot of people started dying very weird, bizarre deaths. So that comes out in the new year. And I also have a film premiering at Sundance called Unhinged. It's a really creepy, bizarre, violent film I did with Eric Balfour. So I have those 2 coming out in the new year. So it's a little bit busy, but like I said, I love that show.
Yeah. If I asked you to share a special memory of any production, which memory would that be? If I asked you to share a special memory from any production, what memory would that be?
Oh, you know, without beating a dead horse, I mean, memories in this industry, they're plentiful. Every fucking film, there's something amazing that happens. You know, I mean, on Young Indiana Jones, I almost died about 10 times. We flipped a steamer in the Tanner River. You know, there's Belhartsia in the Tanner River. We flipped the steamer, there's Crocs. As soon as the steamer flipped over, there's nobody else in the Tanner River. It's still water, so there's a parasite that will kill you if it gets in your eye socket. We flipped over, trying to keep my head above water. You see all the Crocs leave the shore and start swimming for you. Hippopotamus eyeballs over the water coming towards you. The most territorial animal known to man. I mean, some shit that's just crazy. It'd blow your mind, some of the shit that narrowly I escaped death on Young Indiana Jones. I mean, Boondock Saints. You know, some of the scenes that you guys love, or maybe you don't, but you know, some of the scenes that I love, like for example, when we're hanging by rope. What you guys don't know is they had a camera problem. So me and Regis were in the AC duct for about an hour and a fucking half, waiting to fall out of the AC duct. So for an hour and a half, we're up there smack kicking the shit out of each other, laughing our ass off. So when we finally drop down, we're wringing wet. We're fucking soaking wet because we're up in this AC duct. We're just happy to get the fuck down there. Like, we need to do it again. We're like, fuck you, we did it once. We're out, man. But you know, it's making a movie with one of your best friends on the planet. Like I said, I knew him since '95. So I've known him 5 years before we even did Boondock. So, I mean, were there shenanigans? Fuck yeah, there were shenanigans, man.
Yeah, well, were there memorable pranks during filming that you could share from any?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of memorable pranks. I don't know if anybody has met me, but I'm a pretty big prankster. I'm an equal opportunity prankster. If people prank me, I welcome that. But I'm gonna fucking prank you. I don't know, raise your hand. I can't speak for women, but don't guys, here's the thing. This is the way men socialize. Men socialize by picking on each other and insulting each other when they don't really mean it. Raise your hand if you agree. Men, right? This is how men greet. That means you like the guy. Women socialize by complimenting each other when they don't really mean it. That's how chicks socialize, right? Right? Yeah, I'll come, yeah, they do. They're like, oh my God, you look great. So yeah, I mean, dudes pick on each other. I'll give an example. It's normal to give rap gifts. Raise your hand if you know what a rap present is. when you finish a film, it's customary to give people a little gift. And so when we wrapped Boondock 1, I brought a dozen Dunkin' Donuts in. Actually, they're Winchell's Donuts. And I gave them to Rita's, because we were in Canada. They didn't have like old school American donuts. I said, it's killer working with you, man. I got you a dozen donuts, which is like a stupid gift to give. It's fucking donuts, right? And he's like, oh, look, cool, man. That's cool. I was like, yeah. Eat them, man. They're good. And he's like, yeah, cool. I showed up the next day to the makeup trailer. The dozen was still there. I'm like, you didn't eat a fucking donut. Maybe grab a donut. They're fucking delicious, man. I want your donuts. He's like, yeah, they're good donuts. Dude, they're fucking donuts. Glaze, don't eat them. He ate like 3 or 4 more. Showed up the next day. There's like 4 donuts left. I'm like, you eat the donuts? It's a gift. Just slap in my face if you don't eat the donuts. He's like, fuck, I'm eating the donuts. Got some milk. He ate the rest of the donuts. Anyway, we wrapped, and I went home, and then I sent him an envelope with about 10 Polaroids in it of me sitting in a Barca Rounger with nothing on but donuts around my Jimmy Johnson, baby. I mean, that shit you gotta do as a dude, right? I know every chick in here is disgusted, but every dude is like, solid bread. And this is what a good friend does. This is before social media, right? Ritas has never posted those pictures. Thank you, brother. Thank you. But that motherfucker's got 10 Polaroids. It's...
Well, he keeps them for a rainy day.
Well, let me tell you this. The cat's got more dirt on me than I got on him. But he's a gentleman, so.
We have time for some questions from the audience. Yeah, I see.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm running. Where are you? There you are.
What was the most fun part about doing Best Man?
Say it again.
What was the most fun part about doing Best Man, the movie?
Probably meeting Dean Cain. It's a true story. I mean, you know that I worked with a great casting group there. It was Drew Barrymore. It was a lot of Luke Wilson. It was killer cast. But I'll tell you, Dean Cain is like a real dude. It's rare in this industry that you meet people that are so, everybody in Hollywood acts like, I'm so well-grounded. I really don't like LA because it's fake and I'm real. It's like bullshit. You're the fakest motherfucker I've ever met. Dean Cain is a real dude. He's one of the most genuinely humble, wonderful human beings I've met in the industry. That if I'm being perfectly, and that's not to trash anybody else in the cast, but Dean Cain is just one of the best people I've met in Hollywood. That was the best part about it.
Hi. We're all big about the technical films here. What was it like filming Stargate with Manhattan?
Say it again?
What was it like filming Stargate with Manhattan?
I mean, how bad? I made a Stargate out of a toaster oven. You know what I mean? It was killer. Like I said, I made a joke saying that I've made a career out of doing movies that nobody sees. So getting that opportunity to do an episode of a show that was already successful and people watched, it was just a different feeling. Whenever you're doing work that people are going to watch. I'll give you an example. When we shot Boondock Saints, it was an independent film. We had no idea that chances are nobody would see it. So it's different going to work every day knowing that people are going to watch this. Like there's already, 15 million people that are salivating on the next episode, waiting for it to... It's just a different feeling, which I haven't had a lot in my career. So that aspect alone just makes it big for me,
How was it to work with Sarah Shotgar in Super Irresistible?
It was killer. It was killer. I had a great time. I learned to dance. I'm not a dancer, It was great.
So, what do you geek out about? We all have like Star Wars, Godfather. What's your geek out?
Well, like I told you, I watched Nico Rosberg win the Formula One World Championship live. If he was here, I'd probably get a picture with him. Most of the people that I look up to are, it's achievement based. I like some philosophers. And it's mostly philosophers and sports people. People that have achieved things that are seemingly outlandish to me, that are so low probability. Michael Schumacher. I don't know that there's a bigger Michael Schumacher fan in the continental United States than myself. You know, I'd wait 4 days to. Actually, I saw him in a restaurant in Beverly Hills, and but because I know what it's like, I didn't go up to it. But I was like, and the person I was with was like, "Who?" I'm like, "Ah, fuck off, man." But you know, he was sitting like 3 tables down, and honestly, I was this. I was like. He had no fucking idea who I was. And nobody else in the States. I'm like, fuck, I'm Michael Schumacher sitting at a restaurant. No one fucking knew. I mean, so yeah, I geeked the shit out of myself that day, you know? But I didn't go up to him to give him his personal space. But I'll never forget that. I'll never forget seeing him seated 2 seats over at a restaurant called Trastevere. I remember it like it was 10 minutes ago. You know, so everybody has what you call geek out. You know what I mean? It's like, but for me, it's mostly philosophers that I'd like to meet, or sports stars, people that have achieved things that are statistically almost impossible. You know, people that have that kind of drive, that kind of commitment to get to a level of greatness that to most mortals seems uncanny. Those are the people that I kind of shiver when I look to. You know?
In an era of superhero like blockbusters, is there a superhero or a villain you'd like to play?
The question is there a superhero or a villain that I'd like to play? Really? And I know this is a sci-fi convention. My favorite shows are things that I can really believe in. They're things that require zero suspension of disbelief. So they're real stories. Things that to me, even as a kid, you know, as a kid, like I liked Batman because he was a real guy that designed tools to help him beat up people. It was hard for me, even at 8 years old, to go, okay, wait, so this guy can fly, and but he can't stop the banker. You know, Superman, there's a rock that it's hard for me to wrap my head around that shit. I get it, I like it, but to me, it was always Batman, because he's a regular guy. I can go in my head and think, okay, shit, maybe you could design a car that spit out oil, that had a machine gun, that had a canopy, a bat boat. All of that's believable. They just made you a badass superhero that could possibly exist. But Aquaman, I've never met somebody that could breathe underwater. So to me, it's like, it's bullshit. It's hard, you know what I mean? To me, those are the ones that I look up to, even as a kid. It was always Speed Racer. Speed Racer was a dude with a car. You know, it was designed. It was an engineering miracle, this car. But you could conceive of it happening, and subsequently it has happened. You know, he was just a guy that was fast. Those are the people that always went, oh shit, I love that as a kid.
We have to wrap it up. So give a warm applause for him.
First of all, don't ever applaud just because some motherfucker tells you to applaud. But listen, in all honesty, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. You guys truly don't know what it feels like to have a room full of people come and just want to hear you talk. And it warms my heart. It's nourishment for the human condition. It really is. I'm honored and privileged to be employed in this business, and I love and adore each and every one of you. And I wish that you guys could feel what it feels like to be on stage and have a bunch of people show up just to talk to you, because it's everything in the world to me. And I'm honored to be employed in this. Another thing, guys, I wrote my first book, came out April 4th. It's called Jane 2. So if anybody's read my blog, I hope you guys give it a shot to read, because it's everything that put me where I'm at today. But it's important to me. The paperback comes out April 4th, so I'm on a book tour now, and I will be on a book tour next year when the paperback comes out. But again, thank you guys. God bless you, and I hope I see all of you.